As you can see here, we have the test folder for our web app and the Selenium package under it, and we have all the test cases, the scenarios covered in the Java files. So we'll go ahead and run all these test cases together. As you can see, as it opens up, it will first go and register a user. So here we'll be giving all the invalid inputs for all the input fields, and we'll be checking if it throws the correct errors and the error messages corresponding to those inputs. So as you can see, we are trying out different combinations of password that are invalid, and it is giving us the appropriate error messages. We'll do the same for every input field to check if every error is being caught and the error messages are thrown appropriately. This might take a bit long as we have thread.sleep with 2 seconds over every input field. As you can see, we are editing the inputs for city and now for state and checking the errors that are being thrown. We'll proceed with all correct inputs and we'll register the user without any errors. Now we'll check for the invalid inputs on login and we'll check the errors that are being thrown. So your register and login page we have tested extensively. After login, what we can see is it will be an admin logging in. The admin will search for a user and change something. That means it will just set no shows or overdues and then log out and return to the main app. So this was for admin/manager, and we can see the first test case has passed, and the second test case again we'll start with registration and we'll again follow the same thing to validate every input and the errors that are being thrown. So this will be a repeat of what we saw earlier. This will register a new user into the system. We are again going through the various input fields and giving out invalid inputs. Again, we can see the state error message changing over here according to the input. Now we have all valid inputs and we are registering the user as a student. Now we'll do the login validations again for when the user is a student, and we'll do all the invalid inputs for username, password, all combinations, and we'll check the error messages that are being thrown. What we'll do is once it's invalid, we'll valid input and we'll proceed to registering and reserving a parking spot, and we'll fill out the payment details and we'll get the confirmation details. As you can see, the reservation was successful. We have logged out and we are on the main page, and we can see that the second test has passed. Moving on to the third test, again going through the same scenario now for the third time, registering a new user and trying out all the invalid inputs with the error messages. Sorry for the background noise. checking the UTI ID now. Now the car plate number. Let's see how the error messages change here. You can see now there's another error message according to the input. Upon completing all the invalid inputs, we'll proceed with all valid inputs, with the role being admin for the user, and we'll log in and we'll again search for a user. Now we'll be doing all the invalid combinations for username, for login, username as well as password. Now we'll try to search for a user and try to revoke the user or change the roles. And we have successfully changed the role and we are logging out, and we can see that the third test case has passed as well. So we can see all the test cases have passed, and thus all scenarios have been completed successfully. So let's have a look at the Jacopa report. Let's see the controllers. In controllers we have 100% coverage for login user controller, register user controller, because we are testing these two extensively, and the others we have partial coverage because they are just covering the success cases. Let's have a look at the register user controller. Here you can see that we have full coverage, except we have a yellow diamond over here, because what this does is it basically the other branches for checking if the user already exists, because we have the same validations for new user while registering user, and while updating a profile where the user will already be present in the database. So we are not covering the update profile scenario currently. We are just checking for create a new user, so that's why it's just covering one of the two branches. So we have a yellow diamond, otherwise we have a green diamond over here and full coverage. Let's have a look at the login user controller. Over here, as you can see, again we have all greens except for one yellow diamond, because here it's only checking for only when the DB user role is admin. Otherwise, for students, for when the user role is student, it's checking true and false both. For manager, it's checking true and false both. But when we are checking for the scenario when the user is an admin, it's just checking the true condition and not the false condition. That means the else condition. So that's why we have one yellow over here. Otherwise, we have full coverage. Others are just the controllers that were used for the success cases. So like we have 95% coverage over here. Again, over here we have some yellow diamonds because of this being a success, just one of the success cases. We'll just walk through quickly through the other as well. So like search user, it's the same. It's again this is one of the success cases. Reserve parking spot is again part of a success case. So it's not getting covered completely because of it being a success case. Sorry for the background noises. Okay, so we have covered all the controllers that were used in the scenarios. Again, sorry for the background noises. Let's have a look at the DAOs. So again, in the DAOs we have login user and register user. DAOs have been covered extensively. So let's check the register user DAO. Over here we have some yellow diamonds, as you can see over here, because these are actually not under our control. These are just Otherwise, other things that are under our control are like those functions, those are getting full green. The login DAO, again the same thing. Search user DAO, it's again, this is a part of the success case. So we don't have like all greens over here because of it being a success case. So we'll achieve complete green coverage in the final assignment where we completely test the application. So it's 0. So we have some yellows, some greens, some reds. That's okay, we can achieve full green in the next assignment. That's pretty much it for the Jacopo reports.